What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Steam Deck gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out Shadow of Mordor. Now, I know this is a pretty old game at this point, but damn is it a fun game. Like, if you like any of the Lord of the Rings movies and you like Assassin's Creed, well, this is the game for you, because it's pretty much Assassin's Creed with Lord of the Rings characters, for all intents and purposes. And that's not a bad thing. Works great for me. And don't get me wrong, there's still stuff they put in here that makes it completely different. Like, the combat system is a lot different. Assassin's Creed is more about stealth. For most people, it's about stealth. Me, I played it in the way like, now be careful, sneak around everywhere. Okay, well, I'm gonna go in there and kill everyone. Oh, well, I guess you win. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, though, this one has like normal battles and you fight people and you're not supposed to necessarily sneak around all the time. So, obviously, there are differences. I didn't want to sit here and make people think I was saying it copied Assassin's Creed or anything. But anyway, though, so I figured, why don't we go and see how these games run on the Steam Deck, and then a little bit later on, we'll try them on the Steam Deck and the desktops too. But those guys are in the midst of doing other videos right now. I'm trying to finish up Grand Theft Auto, and I'm gonna do that after tomorrow, because tomorrow Returnal comes out. So I gotta do Returnal videos all day tomorrow, but the day after that, I'll finish up the GTA trilogy, and then I'll start making videos on Shadow of Mordor and whatnot. So the Steam Deck videos will be a little bit ahead, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So without wasting any more time, let's get this Steam Deck hooked up to the capture computer and get some gameplay. Now, this one's probably not gonna play maxed out, even though it's an old game. I'm gonna try it, and if it can, cool. We'll do that, play for like 5 minutes or whatever, and then get out the camera for like 5 minutes or something. But if it can't, we'll just do the normal, go through all the damn settings, you know? Just so we can see. But without any further ado, let's get started.
Well, all right. Before we hop on into the game, let's look at these settings right quick. So we're going at native resolution and all that. No FPS limit. No VSync. So now let's go look at the advanced options. We're going to try Ultra. It's probably not going to work like it generally doesn't on this game or in the system without it being a very old game. And even some old games don't let you do Ultra. That's okay. And since it probably won't do this, we'll go through all the settings, I think. So, let's get into the game, though, and try real quick, just for fun. Well, into the game on Ultra, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I was figuring like 20 FPS, but we're getting 40s to 50s here. Oh, now into the 30s a little, too. But a lot of people would consider this perfectly playable. Not me, though. I like my 60 FPS, so I will probably be tinkering with the settings, but we'll go through all the settings. But before we do, let's shoot this guy in the face. Seems like that'd be a fun thing to do. That was pretty fun. And then all the slave people are like, haha, we're free. Alright, I don't remember what any of the damn controls are for the most part, though, so let's take this slow. Oh, so there's a guy up there. Let's see, though. I go here. So just like Assassin's Creed, bushes are like, make you invisible. So, graphics aren't that bad considering this game is kind of a few years old. I think it came out in, crap, what was it, I want to say 14? I could be wrong on that, but I think it's from around that era. So, not horrible looking. Obviously, it's not going to win any graphics awards in today, but not bad. Especially considering we're only at 720p and it's blown up all large like it is. Because now it's on YouTube at 4K 60 FPS. Oh, he's seen me. Now he's all mad. I know what we can do to cheer him up. There we go. All fixed. Alright, though. Why don't we tone the graphics down a little bit and see how very high does? Well, Ultra did better than I thought, but still, let's tone it down a little. I want to try and get 60. So let's tone it down to very high, which still probably won't work since textures and mesh are still on Ultra, and those are probably the two culprits preventing us from getting 60. Well, that and probably the shadow quality, too. Shadows are usually pretty heavy on the FPS. Lighting can be too, though. There can be so many different things. Anyway, why don't we hop into the game now and see how very high fares? Alright. Let's try very high out here. Shoot this guy in the head right off the bat this time so he doesn't spot me and alert this other dude who's standing over here. He's just minding his business, not even paying attention to what's behind him, so we'll shoot him right in the head, and now everybody will scatter and be like, we're free again. I'm the slave freer. And we are able to hit 60 at times, but we definitely drop a little under here and there. But to be perfectly honest, that's the kind of drops that I don't even notice without a frame cap or a frame rate limit. Jesus, if I can talk. A frame rate counter in the top, you know? But if it starts dropping all the way down to like 52 or something like that, 55, that's when I start noticing. So I'm actually quite impressed. This is already very, very playable. All of Middle Earth.
Them rumors about raids leaping from the sky onto the backs of Uruk are nothing but that. Filthy rumors.
Alright, now let's move on to high. Well now, time to lower it to high, so let's go through the settings right quick here. Now high is probably the way you could probably just play without messing with any settings, but I'm still probably going to fuck with shit a little more. Just for fun. Like, we could probably would be able to get away with, like, ultra textures and mesh and still stay above 60, but we don't know about later on in the game. Well, now, here is just high. We're at the top of the tower. I can punch the air. I was trying to jump down, but I punched the air instead. But, wow, yeah, we're getting a lot of FPS now. I think we'll probably stay above 60 all the time now. Oh, it's down to 64 and shit, though, so maybe not later on. It's things like that that make me try to prepare when I do my settings at the end, you know? I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, this will work just fine for you. Then you get a little later in the game and it's like, ah, dude, I'm dropping down to like 40 FPS. What is this guy talking about? But since I'm not playing the entirety of the game, I have no way of knowing. So I try to prepare the best I can. Oh, well, that was horrible on my part. Oh, horse shit. I have the worst aim in the world. Finally. Oh, I was shooting a tent. No wonder. I guess arrows don't go through tent. Duly noted. Uh-oh, I'm on an elf shot. But that's okay. We're pretty much ready to move on anyway, so now let's go drop this down to medium. Well, now we're going to try out medium graphics quality, so before we get in there, let's just look at the settings real quick. Alright, that is the bottom, so now let's go see how medium does. Alright, medium gameplay time. So let's jump down our little tower here, Assassin's Creed style. The game still doesn't look awful for how old it is, but I think I'm going to try to get the textures and the mesh to at least be at high at the very least. Once I get to my settings, because now we're getting like 90 FPS at times and 70s most of the time. Is it even going to drop into the 60s at all anymore? That's the question, because if it doesn't, we can definitely turn some settings up. And this is kind of how I figured out what my settings. As I go through all the settings, I kind of take note how it changes and then go, all right. Judging by what things you changed, I can go back to this, this, and that. It still takes a little bit of fiddling, though. Sometimes like 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I've sat there for 30, 40 minutes trying to get just like the perfect settings, like in Cyberpunk. That game has so many options. At least it has a benchmark, so you can kind of tell a little bit whether or not you're like getting somewhere. But not every game has one of those, so you have to just use your own eyes. So you gotta just jump back in and out of the game over and over and over again. Because I mean, some games like act like they're changing stuff, but even though they're changing stuff, I like to just quit the hell out of the game completely. Unless I'm just messing with FSR. FSR is one of those few ones I don't leave the game, but I at least will usually go back to the main menu and come back. Not always, but most of the time, just to be at least pretty sure. Well, now for low, which is probably not going to look very good, but we don't have anything like FSR to make it look even worse, so at least it'll be at native resolution. So there's at least that. But at 720p, this is probably going to look pretty bad. But hey, we'll probably get a decent amount of FPS, although who knows? Maybe it'll be very similar to medium. Let's go find out, though. Well, now here we go at low, and all the way up here anyway, we're at almost 100 FPS. There we go, drop to hang, there we go. But yeah, like I thought, now the graphics look pretty crappy. But there's still one graphics setting lower than this, so we're gonna go to very low after this. But felt like just owning those people. It's fun to do that sometimes. And I did not end up taking the Fiera out for a drive either. I just decided until I get it checked out, since it's sat all winter, probably not the best idea. My luck is I'll go drive it, it'll be fine for like 10-15 minutes, and I'll be stranded on the side of the road. And if Sid's busy, he can't just drop everything he's doing at work to come with the tow truck. What if he's on a tow or something? Then I'm really screwed. I have to wait until he's done doing all that, and that could be 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours. And with my antisocialness, I really don't like being stranded on the side of the road for that long. Luckily, I've only ever had good experience with people that have tried to stop and help me, but a lot of times in my brain, I sit there and think of the worst possible cases here. It's like, okay, yep, well, this is where somebody's just gonna like come up and like either kill me, or like cops are gonna come and plant drugs on me and be like, hey, you're under arrest because we found this shit. It's like cocaine in your car. And it's like, well, I don't do that, so how did that get there? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm a cop and you're not. So shit. Now, for the lowest graphics quality settings. So let's look over them. It literally just basically turns everything either off or onto low. So you don't even get depth of field or this order independent transparency or tessellation or none of that. So it looked bad before. It's probably going to look super bad now, but let's go see. Well, now here we go with lowest graphics settings. And honestly, we're not really getting any more FPS. We're getting about the same we were getting before. Probably got to the point of diminishing returns. Sometimes when you turn settings down, you actually start losing performance, or not gaining any, because then all of a sudden your CPU becomes a bottleneck, or your GPU still just can't handle any more FPS. It's just as far as it's going to go, no matter what you do. Unless you lower resolution, which we're not doing. We're doing native the whole time. That's when things like FSR can come in and be like, hey, I might CPU bottleneck you a little bit. It's all rainy.
Speed is obviously the best weapon. You got reach and you got shot. What else is there?
I don't know. What else is there? You tell me. Wow, though, even though it's like super like low details, you can still see like the rain pouring off of the walls and shit. They put a lot of effort into detail in this game, even for the lower graphics settings. That's pretty neat. But the textures and everything on the ground kind of look a lot like a PS3 game all of a sudden. Alright, like I thought. My arrows don't do dick to that thing. Besides, he seems to have his own problems. Oh shit, it bit his hand. Well, anyway, why don't we go move on to my settings now? Alright, now for my settings, so I decided to go with lighting quality high, mesh on high, no motion blur or any aliasing, medium shadow and texture filtering, texture quality on high, ambient occlusion and vegetation range I left on medium. And then I turned off depth of field and left these other two guys on. So let's go see how my settings do. Well, alright. Let's get a little gameplay in here.
Don't call me crazy, but I heard them tracks.
Yep, with my settings, I think we'll be fine. Well, pretty much the whole game. I could be wrong, of course. Stupid spiders.
Cut the damn crab's foot off before I can even make it alive.
Man, there's all sorts of shit going on. Let's shoot this guy for fun. Fuck you, spider. Both of you have been dealt with.
There's not much that's better than seeing the life of a hated
And of course, if I
enemy
was
fade
doing
from its
this,
eyes.
I would also lock it to 60, but I wanted to leave it unlocked for now. Just so we can see what it can do. Anyway, let's move on to camera.
Well, alright guys, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay now.
Your system can shoot fire. Yeah, the best trained. The hammer's the toughest son of a claw Mordor's ever seen. I pity anyone that's on the wrong end of a kicking from him.
Huh.
What we need is more rain, more thunder. That'll give the slaves something to cry about besides starvation and torture. I got me a man, and I won't be so hard.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of people talking over here. So let us run on over.
Feels like we haven't had a good battle in weeks. Maybe I should challenge someone to a duel. Just to get some practice.
How about this? Alrighty. Where else can we head to? Okay, there's that one.
Stop fighting, Ranger.
Yep. Like any other sniper, once they know my position, I get the fuck out of there. And if you guys want to come on up here, I need more elf shot. I wonder if there's any up here anywhere. Sometimes there are some up here, so let's try to climb this thing. But nah, this game is pretty damn sweet. Maybe kind of old, but it's still plenty of fun.
Hate it when we go out hunting. Come back with nothing. I'm really making the rest of us look bad again.
But alright, I think that's plenty of camera gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and wrap this video on up now? Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Shadow of Mordor, and it played it pretty damn well. Just couldn't quite handle Ultra. Ultra was more like a 47 to 55 FPS experience. And then very high dropped down into like the low 50s too, so very high didn't work, but high seemed to work, but it might drop in certain areas, so I decided to still go through all of the settings and then throw out some of my own custom settings. Now, of course, you might be able to get away with turning some of them up here and there, but I like preparing for later on in the game. Just because we're getting great FPS here and getting like 70, 80 doesn't mean later on in the game and maybe a more demanding part that we still will. So I like to prepare for that, just like in my Hogwarts videos. I was a little too overzealous, so we ended up having to turn down some settings once we got to town. In any case, that is all we got for this particular video. Another one of those games I really, really like. If it wasn't so freaking huge, I'd leave it on the Steam Deck, but I think this one and the other one together are like 180 gigs together. So that's quite a bit. That's like Forza Horizon 5. I had to delete that too. As much as I like it, it was too big. And plus, I can't max it out as I couldn't turn up the settings quite as high as I would have liked. So I had to deal with a 30 FPS experience, and I don't like racing at 30 FPS. I like 60 plus for racing and fighting and anything with action and lots of movement, you know? Just like turn-based games and stuff like that, and whatever. I don't really care about 30, 40 FPS. I mean, you're basically sitting there staring at a static image a majority of the time. Anyway, though, I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you. And until the next video, peace out, guys.